The mess on his desk isn't his. Our kids have like hijacked the entire
Oh,
house.
come on, it's yours. We know whose it is.
Oh no, the mess on my mess is on my own desk. We have
Ah,
distinct sides of the office. I'm not allowed on his side. He's not allowed on mine.
got it.
We have like a tape line down the middle, like when you were kids.
Creating Connections Podcast, episode 18. I'm Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor, and this is the lovely.
Vickie Musni, certified personality
I
trainer.
always get her to say her name. That's how we do this.
Yes.
After 18 episodes, you
But
would
you've
think.
never called me lovely before, so thank you.
Oh, well, I'm not feeling very well today.
That's my excuse.
On today's podcast, we're going to chat about a recent sales meeting that I had with a bride and groom and the art of connecting through that. And also, Vickie, you just recently got back from a wedding and witnessed the art of connecting in person with
Yes.
a
Went
DJ
to a
and
wedding
his
as a guest,
with a DJ and his audience. So why don't you tell us about that?
or lack thereof. It's just pretty rare to be, just invited to a wedding and just be a guest. And, I love this couple. It's a young couple from our church, and I really adore them. And I was hoping for the best, but of course, you know, I don't even know how to say this politely. I was nervous for them. And so, yeah, we walked into the reception, and the DJ booth was set up in the corner. And granted, this is just a hall in a public park. It's a hall where we've worked before.
Okay.
And he's not at all set up where we've set up in the past. So that was a little bit of a concern. And so I real quick Googled, because he did have like his company name like on a loop on his computer that was facing the audience. And so I Googled it. It was someone that I'd heard before. It's like a group. It was
That's the
yeah.
2010 version of the DJ sign.
Yeah. And so I Googled it real quick and saw their ad that said, big special now, 4 hours for $4.95 instead of $6.95. And I just went, oh God, I hope he's not as bad as I think he's going to be. And he wasn't terrible. I mean, he had a decent voice, but I think honestly the thing that frustrated me from a guest perspective is I felt like there was so much time with nothing, and it was magnified for me. I haven't talked a whole lot about this, but I did have surgery 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
That's why Dave was filling in last week. So this was literally my first big outing, and since the surgery, and I only made it about 4 hours. So the ceremony was supposed to start at 2:30. It didn't start till 3. I've seen that. I don't know, the reasons. It was at our
Okay.
church. That happens. But then we get to the reception, and which is only 2 blocks from the church, literally. Like I used to teach preschool there, and we would walk our kids to that park. And so then we did some more sitting, and they did have a photo booth and a little bar set up. But I was on pain meds, so I couldn't really partake in anything.
That'd been awesome. And the phone booth with pain
Yeah.
meds. Hello.
And then, so we just mingled and visited with some friends and sat and waited and waited. And then finally, the DJ, did the grand introduction, but there was no other introduction. Didn't introduce himself, don't know, never even heard his name. But he did introduce them, and they're a very large bridal party. And to his credit, he pronounced all of the names properly. But that was pretty much all he did. And then he said, I should play you the video. I took a little bit of video. And then he just said something like, well, we're going to start dinner in about a half an hour. So you have, time to just sit and visit and mingle some more. And I was like, great. We've been doing that for the last hour. So then we did that. And then at dinner time, he had the bride and groom go up, and then he said, okay, and then now we're going to have the bridal party. And then every time he repeated, well, first we have the bride and groom, and then we have the bridal party, and now we have the parents and the grandparents. And then he just was like, then it was just free for all. And, 150 people in this one big, ridiculous, massive line. And then it was, I had reached about 4 hours and I couldn't stay.
Yeah.
And just as I was starting, I had just gone over and told them, they knew I had just had the surgery and stuff. Yeah. But I thought 4 hours, I really had hoped that I would get to see a first dance or hear a toast or something. And then right as I was leaving, I did hear the DJ say, the cake is melting, so everybody turn to that far corner. I'm going to put some cake cutting music on for the bride and groom, and then we'll do our toast after that. And then I thought, it's probably good that I'm leaving now.
Wow. Yeah. There's so much wrong with that, I can't even begin.
Wait till I send you the picture of the father-daughter dance with the restroom sign in the background. That's why we don't set up on that side of the room.
Yeah.
It's one big rectangle, and there's restrooms at one end, and then there's a kitchen at the other end. And then in the very center, there's a fireplace. So we always set up to the side of the fireplace so we can keep the dance floor in the middle. But we set up on the side closer to the kitchen so that there's no restroom signs.
So a few things really jump out at me on this, and that is, number one, layout. And I can't remember if this was from Peter Mary's The Best Wedding Reception Ever or where I got this from, but if you think about it, everything that might have been Bill Herman, everything that happens at a wedding reception happens in one of two places. It happens at either the head table or the dance floor. And you want those two locations to be as centrally located as possible for maximum enjoyment of your guests. If you have your head table and your dance floor all on one end and then just rows of tables lined up the other rest of the way down the line, then your guests have to look through like 5 sets of heads just to get to that moment where the toast is happening or the introductions are happening or the cake cutting or the first dance. And they'll feel less engaged and less involved and less of a part of the event. And when your MC or your DJ or your band leader or whoever, they open the microphone, that's like the curtain drawing in the play. Action. Mm-hmm. And so everything has to be set ahead of time.
Well, and honestly, I can't even really speak to where he had people stand when they did the toast. I would assume that he brought the mic over to the head table, but like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay that long.
But building connections with your clients, it's not just about your performance that day.
No.
It's about positioning yourself and then believing you are the expert before we even get to that day.
And it's about having a real relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that I don't even know his name.
Right.
Was weird. Like there was no connection. He was making announcements and that's what he was hired and paid to do. So, he did that. And he had a decent voice, like a radio DJ kind of voice. It wasn't super annoying. He wasn't real energetic because there wasn't, like you said, that connection. I just found a thank you note. I think it came sometime when I was recovering from surgery. Okay. I just found it yesterday. But it was from a client whose wedding we did in May. Craig and I did the entertainment, and then our video guys, Phil and Christian, did the videos. They booked all of that through us. But the card said, Vickie and Craig, thank you so much for such an incredible night. Everyone we talked to said it was the most fun that they've ever had at a wedding. We greatly appreciate everything that you guys did. We feel so blessed to know such a wonderful couple and to have you a part of our lives. Love, Ari and Nate. And to me, I mean, that wedding was so special. And yeah, we kind of knew them outside because they started as trivia clients.
Sure.
But that was really the extent. They were clients there too. But we would see them periodically. Plus we had all of our planning sessions and everything. And, but I mean, we were so connected at that wedding. We had other people commenting on it. And that was the one, I don't know if I shared this on the podcast, but my former DJ host, Jake, was friends with this couple. They played at his location. and he was killed in an accident almost exactly a year ago,
Yeah.
before the wedding took place. And there was a moment where one of the other players on their trivia team, one of the bridesmaids, was doing her toast. And she alluded to that, not directly, but just made reference to having lost.
Yeah.
And at the end of that toast, I'm used to the bride and groom, being the first ones that whoever's giving the toast, they respond. The bride turned and hugged me in like this super long embrace. And people were just commenting after that. It was obvious that we knew each other really well, and that there was a connection. In that case, it was even more than a typical client situation.
Yeah.
But
because you'd gone through a loss together.
Yeah, we had, and he would have been in the wedding, and so there was just this like this vacant spot that only a few of us knew about. But we were in tune with that, and they even put off their honeymoon because they wanted everyone to be together that Tuesday, which was the 1 year mark.
Gotcha.
For when Jake had passed. So yeah, it was an incredible day to be a part of, and really fun. And I wish that we could have provided that for my other friend who got married. But they had a good time, and maybe this goes back to what you were going to talk about perception and expectation. I don't know, but I don't think anybody else except the other two guys that work for me, because we all go to the same church, they were also there, and one of them was doing video, not through our company. And I think they were the only ones that were kind of in tune with the stress level that Craig and I were experiencing.
Right.
But everybody else, I think it was just kind of what they expect.
It's what they see every single Saturday. And
well, yeah, if you're charging $4.95, you're gonna have your guys out there, every single Saturday.
You can have a diamond in the rough. You can have someone that maybe doesn't know their worth, but is still a decent enough MC where they're working on their craft, but not necessarily know their worth. That does happen. It's rare, but it does happen. But from this standpoint, it's clear that he did not have a relationship with the bride and groom in advance, and that he didn't really care. He was just showing up, going through the motions, and this is part of my sales process. When I'm talking with a client, it's like, you're going to hire someone to, the DJ to play music, right? And you're going to hire the, caterer to make food, and you got a bartender, and you got a photographer, and you got a videographer, and you've got, a person making the cake. Who's actually bringing all this together to make sure everything flows smoothly? And again, getting what you're worth.
Well, and a lack of connection too. I noticed, he got their names right when he did the introduction because he was holding a thing. But then after that, he only referred to them as the bride and groom or as Mr. and Mrs. Not even Mr. and Mrs. Miller.
Because he fell into his own script, his own rote way of doing things, like he does every single weekend. And it's
and you don't know your couple, so you better not say their name because you'll probably get it wrong.
Right.
Because there's no relationship there.
And so to me, it's about how can we create that relationship on the front end in even the hiring process, so that A, we know whom before we sit, B, we have a connection with them up front, and C, we're actually looking forward and creating and collaborating together different ideas we can make happen for them. So people show up to their wedding, there's 2 or 3 things that they weren't expecting to happen, and holy cow, I never seen that at a wedding before, and it makes them want to stay, and it makes them engaged, and they'll have fun, and they'll refer more.
And it's not forced because there's a real relationship. And I know you and we both had initial meetings with couples in the last couple of days that just went really, really well. And sometimes you can, of course you can create good questions and you can follow a process, but sometimes there's just a connection. You just click in a way that you can't necessarily plan, but it just happens.
Well, and that happened with yours. I wouldn't say that mine just clicked. I would say it took a little bit.
You created your connection.
Yeah. And here's the funny story about this connection, okay? This bride contacted me originally back in February when she got engaged, okay? And it was a word of mouth from actually the bride I'm performing for this weekend, ironically enough. And she also works with one of my MCs at his day job. Okay.
Okay.
And so that's the connection we have here with this bride. And then the funny thing is that she was supposed to get back to me and do a thing, and then all of a sudden she was supposed to get back to me and do a thing, and then all of a sudden I never hear from her again. And like she fell off the face of the earth. Okay, whatever. So I sent her my series of emails that I do typically.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Yeah.
still need help, let me know on the last one. That was back in April. Haven't heard from her since. So I'm not going to be the pesky salesperson. At that point, after 7 or 8 touches, okay, fine. You must have found somebody else. We're good. My other MC, Brad, who you met before in workshop.
Yeah.
Brad
Yeah.
pops in the other day here at the office and says, hey, Laura was looking to chat with you about her wedding. And I'm like, oh, let me look. I might think she might have talked to me. And I looked it up and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so long story short, she
That's her.
calls up, she makes an appointment. We have a conversation, and that she comes in, and she had gone through and literally watched almost all of our YouTube videos.
I remember this now.
All of our vlogs. Yeah. And the comment she got, and I wrote this on Facebook last night, I got probably the biggest compliment I've ever received from a bride that I met for the first time, right? A lot of them give me compliments based upon, we saw you at so-and-so's wedding, you were awesome, whatever, but first time ever meeting this person, and she said that in our YouTube videos, she could just tell how much love the couple had for each other and how genuine those moments were. And she could feel the love coming through the computer screen to her, and she was crying. Not even knowing these people that she's watching. And so for her to say that to me, it means that we connected with not only that bride we're performing for, not only her guests and his guests that came to see them, their friends and family that night, but now because of vlogging, and thank you Jason Jani and Bobby Carpenter and Mike Walter and others who have pushed me to vlog, but we're now reaching potential brides who see this and love it. And and I'll give you what she wrote. She wrote this on my Facebook wall today. She sent me a friend request after last night.
Nice.
And she said, well, Mitch, it is the truth. Smiley face. And can't wait to work with you and have tailored weddings with us on our big day. You made Corey and I feel even more excited about our big day after the appointment than we did before. So what it's all about is connecting with people.
Well, and it's so cool that you use video so well. And I know you learned that from others that you mentioned, but video is so powerful and so important. And that just touches my heart as someone who did video for 15 years before getting into the entertainment side.
Yeah.
And it just echoes it. Yeah, it's so important. Whether it's the documentary style video of the day and I'm terrible about actually remembering to get the video testimonials when I've been doing the MC side. It's like my brain shuts off. Maybe it's because I did video for so long that I put on a different hat and I just try to block out and not think about, okay, video guys are doing their job and I kind of forget. But it's so important to go back and talk to the couples afterwards and, ask specific questions about moments and things like that so that your other potential clients can see that firsthand. But yeah, that was a good story.
Well, even in your sales process, and I want to go back to something I've learned over the years, and that is your sales process is finding out, what do they want out of their wedding day? And sometimes it's a case of they just want to show up, relax, and have a great time.
Yep.
You don't have to come up with all these creative elements and slideshows and montages and love stories and personalized introductions. And you don't have to do that. If you just do the basics and do them well,
there we go.
Connect with your audience.
Yeah.
Then you can rock a party but truly connect with your audience.
Yes.
We just got back from a Master of Ceremonies workshop with Randy Bartlett, an Advanced Mic Skills workshop with Randy Bartlett.
I'm so jealous.
And
I wanted to be there.
We were the only company that had 4 of their staff members there. I'm a big proponent of multi-op should send all their talent through a workshop, in my opinion.
Mhm. Yep.
You come at it from
And you practice what you preach on that. And I think that's really awesome.
I do. I just feel that,
Yeah.
again, it's not me learning from a Randy or a Bill or a Mark or whomever, and then now bringing that information back and disseminating it, because now it's the third hand information at that point.
Mhm.
Now we all can come together as students, and my staff gets to see
Yep.
me up there getting critiqued just as much as they are,
Yep.
and we bond together as students over the information, and we're all able to come to that same river of knowledge and drink it together and learn together and grow together. And I think that shows also that I'm willing to be a part of it with them and not ask them to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Yep. No. Yeah, I was watching the post from that workshop and talked to Allison after the workshop and also after her wedding on Saturday. And yeah, it was just fun to see her so confident. And I know that she's had great training from you, but that workshop right before was just like the dot on the exclamation mark, and she was ready for that wedding. And
I think it was. And she's going to do a great job at this weekend's event for Paige and Luke as well. So
yeah, she's good.
So I encourage you.
You hire good people.
Well, we try. I encourage you, dear viewer, all three of you, please go out and seek additional training wherever you can in the art of connecting, whether it's over a microphone, whether it's through the written word, whether it's through video. There's many different ways to connect with people.
Whether it's over coffee.
Yeah, sales training. We got that too. So check us out. You can see Vickie and I together coming up at the Las Vegas DJ Show. That is LasVegasDJShow.com. You're presenting on Wednesday, is that correct?
Monday.
Monday. I'm sorry. Monday.
That's okay.
You have Vickie has a seminar on Monday afternoon. I'll be hosting the Little Black Book of Connections workshop from Jeffrey Gitomer on Tuesday afternoon. And you can join us for that. Go to LasVegasDJShow.com for more information. And thank you for checking out today, Creating Connections Podcast, easy for me to say, episode 18. Any parting words, Vickie?
Nope. Thanks for being here today. Have a good one.
All right.